In other scandalous news, David, there's some crazy shit going on.
This is crazy.
DSA endorsed mayoral candidate in
DFL
Minneapolis. DFL until this morning or yesterday. Omar Fateh won the caucus, the endorsement at the Democratic Party caucus. But now you'll get these stories like, let's just pick one at random, but they'll invariably say something about the process there's something janky about the process. So this is from Axios. It says, let's just read the first couple lines here. A state Democratic Party committee revoked the Minneapolis DFL endorsement of mayoral candidate Omar Fateh, citing major concerns with local party organizers' handling of the endorsing convention. Now, that's interesting language. The language that I'd been hearing was process concerns. It turns out that all that is bullshit, that the Democratic Party that decided to say our process was messed up, we take that back, is lying about its own convention because of the money. So here is a tweet. This is an amazing piece of media. This is from let's see, Lisa. This is from Wedge Live. A woman named Lisa Goodman, who is with the Democrats. She's also with the Jacob Frey All of Minneapolis PAC. But in this, she's talking about donations through the party. And listen to what she says here, and ask yourself if this is what a Democratic Party, a nominally Democratic Party, how it should be operating.
Jump in on that too.
Yeah. Hey, Lisa.
Hi, Jacob. So I'm holding checks, Lenny, from a lot of people who contributed to this multi-candidate expenditure in our ward to help Elizabeth, because some of the largest contributors at the 5,000 level didn't feel comfortable giving the money to the DFL. If the decision is overturned, I have permission to cash a bunch of those checks. You're welcome to add to the pot, by the way. And we've raised, Lou Remley and I have raised roughly $25,000 to help Elizabeth get another staff person. But it's clear that people don't trust the DFL in our world and don't want the money spent if Fateh is going to be the DFL endorsed candidate. You can reach me offline for more info.
Very interesting. So literally nothing about process. The truth, which is everyone suspected, which is that the money paying for corporate centrists like Frey and people like Walz, who veto legislation, say, supporting rideshare minimum wages. The people that are paying for those donations didn't want to see Fateh be the mayoral candidate. And they said, actually, those checks that we gave you, we're going to make those bounce unless you revoke the endorsement that your party's convention had decided on.
Yeah, I mean, can you just kind of help us understand the process here? First, like, what, like, the way that this, like, convention, like, operates. We covered on the show, I know, but just, like, really briefly, just for people, because this is a little different from, like, a typical election, right?
Yeah, exactly. It is a caucus style. Which just generically, what that means is like people with a committed activist base will be advantaged. In this specific case, there was issues with the electronic voting system, and Jacob Frey's folks said basically, well, this is fucked. Nothing's going to happen today. We're going to pull our people out of the convention. My understanding, and I might be wrong about this, but this is what I've seen sort of opined, is that if he hadn't done that, they could have probably fought it to a draw without any sort of like endorsement really falling through. So that's why they're pissed, is that they pulled out, the convention got its shit together and endorsed Fateh, who was showing strong support at the convention regardless, right? Like he was probably beating Frey in general, just not enough to lock up the actual endorsement. You need like over a high threshold that's rarely met, which I don't think Frey has gotten it in years that he's actually ran, because it's a hard threshold to beat. But they pulled out, and then when Fateh's folks got it passed in the convention, they started whining immediately about that because I mean, frankly, this entire thing, and this is rat fucking of the highest order by the Democratic Party for like the most venal purposes.
Because the people who
But
are
it
doing
shows
this, right?
weakness.
These are almost like the people the furthest away from the process, or the furthest from representing like any kind of Democratic Party mandate in the community.
Yeah, especially like not Minneapolis. This is the Democrats from maybe suburbs.
Oh,
or
that's cool.
rural
That's
areas.
cool.
Exactly. I mean, here's Fateh's video. They kind of go into this a little bit.
All of Minneapolis has been spending the last month working tirelessly on invalidating the convention that endorsed Omar Fateh for mayor.
28 party insiders voted to take away our endorsement behind closed doors. This group was comprised of non-Minneapolis residents, Mayor Frey supporters, and even donors. This is exactly what Minneapolis voters are sick of. The insider games, the backroom division, and feeling like our voice doesn't matter in our own city. Frey's team used every tactic they could, including delay and confusion on convention day because they didn't have the votes. We see this for what it is: disenfranchisement of thousands of Minneapolis caucus goers and the delegates who represented all of us on convention day. Let me be clear, we're still in this fight and we're going to win. Donate and sign up for a shift today.
Yeah. I think that the message is perfectly clear. I mean, what happened here is, I don't know, like a pretty stark example of the kind of anti-democratic commitment of most Democratic Party insiders, where, you know, if the allegation is that like, Omar like was able to like take advantage of a political situation that was out in the open and was kind of based upon the enthusiasm of membership and folks who were there, to the disadvantage of a corporate candidate like Frey, to then turn around and be like, well, the answer to that is to have like the least representative body imaginable invalidate it. I don't know. It paints a pretty damn clear picture of the way that the Democratic Party operates in Minnesota for sure, but all across this country.
Minnesota's supposed to be one of the good ones.
Yeah, 100%.
And this is very, I mean, there's a few elements. One, there's just like, I think, anti-Somali racism.
I want to get back to that in a second. Yeah.
But also like this, first of all, it looks so weak, I think, from Frey folks that they're
100%.
having to do this sort of thing. But as a party, misrepresent what happened at your own convention and to point at some process like, oh, this is actually the vote counting machines. The vote, this is Trump like vote denial. Election denial about your own convention that you're supposed to be competent enough to fucking run.
Yeah,
so it makes you look bad. And there is zero chance that this will be happening if somehow Frey won in the exact same way.
Are you kidding?
Exactly. And so and that's across all the media was, oh no, there was concerns about whether the process was fair. That's a lie. That is just an explicit lie. That this party and nationally Democrats are wondering, why are we lagging behind voter registration to Republicans for like 5 straight years? This is why. You're crooked. And you know, go ahead.
No, I just want to talk about who this emboldens. I don't know if you may have already had this on the docket, but there's a certain political commentator who likes to harass college kids, who's been having a field day with this opening the Democrats have given him, Charlie Kirk.
I didn't see this.
Oh yeah, no, Charlie Kirk's all over this. Also, the kind of moronic guy doesn't understand the his appearance on South Park was not really an endorsement of how cool he was. But the Minnesota State Democrat Party has reversed its endorsement of Omar Fateh for Minneapolis after discovering, or rather being forced to admit, severe voting irregularities at the city's Democrat convention. Problems included voting machine malfunctions, party delegates being removed without warning or explanation, and it was it cheating or just Somali-style democracy? I mean, truly odious. And look, that's kind of what Charlie Kirk does. He's a pig-faced racist, and he gets paid lots of money to kind of promote this nonsense and this anti-American crap, frankly. But guess what? you're lining up on the same side as people like fucking Charlie Kirk Fry, right?
Yeah.
And all of these people pushing this kind of thing, because that is the implication, right? Is that there was some kind of like, you know, if you don't want to use kind of racial or, you know, country of origin, like terminology or whatever, the implication that someone like Charlie Kirk is doing, you are saying that there was a kind of like malicious, maybe criminal, conspiracy to rig our election. Yeah. Are you that different? Do you just maybe not want to be as explicit? I mean, this is the exact same fucking nonsense as we're seeing from Kirk. And you see this time and time again, with Democrats, is that they're very willing, to kind of like talk about, you know, racial justice and political justice and against like this, being against discrimination, all this kind of stuff, when it's advantageous to them. But regularly, the moment that it seems like it will be beneficial to their political movement to kind of dip their toe in the water here, they're more than happy to oblige, knowing that people like Charlie Kirk are going to push this kind of thing, knowing that Charlie Kirk's stuff, even though they might not feel like they align with it, they say like, oh, this is going to scare off voters, who might, you know, in other contexts support Fateh.
This is a pronounced pattern that exists for a reason. For all the bullshit that centrist liberals like to talk about horseshoe theory, you look at what happened with Andrew Cuomo and the meme lord that he hired, who was just a Trump supporter who was doing like time to break unions memes, in addition to like, you know, I think racist stuff. There is the abundance guys who can't help but like go on Richard Hanania's podcast. Hanania's a Nazi.
Yeah.
Or he used to be a Nazi, or he used to suck. He hopes he doesn't suck anymore. And there's I'm blanking on other examples, but this is pretty common among of the center to be playing footsie with this sort of stuff. And yeah, it's not a coincidence. I mean, Gavin Newsom was on Charlie Kirk's podcast, but this is. I'm kind of impressed by how on the ball Charlie Kirk is on this. But I guess I should know that like his racism antenna is going to be very sensitive to that. But exactly, he of course he's going to do that. And how much damage do the Democrats want to do to a party that they supposedly try to win power through?
Well, this is the thing. They literally will burn it all down before letting somebody like that, you know, win an election. I mean, you're already seeing the, you know, Zoran, I think is unique in the sense that like, you know, his star and magnetism is so strong, that it's pulling some people into his orbit. But still, I mean, you see plenty of holdouts within the Democratic Party who are unwilling, you know, to support him, despite the fact that, you know, he's a legitimate Democrat candidate in the New York City mayoral elections.
Right.
I mean, look, yeah, they will tarnish their entire legacy to prevent somebody like Fateh from coming into a position of power.
The anti-democracy of it, Hakeem Jeffries being like, well, he's got to speak to members of my community, and Zoran's there's concerns that they have. They voted in the primary.
Yeah.
He won your district by 12 points.
No, we have a process for that.
Yeah, exactly. It's called primary elections. Like, what are you talking about? Now he's got to do like some sort of like, I don't know, tea gathering with your stupid ass? Like, no. Like, it's appalling the degree to which we do not have a democracy here. And like that woman saying like, talk to me more offline about this.
Insane.
I'm shocked you said what you said publicly.
Yeah, to sit here and say like, oh no, there's like a kind of quote unquote like capital strike.
Yes, literally.
This person, yeah. I also just say this, Matt. I mean, you know, for people who maybe have a lot of opinions on strategy and process for how to build strong working class movements in this country, this is a pretty good opportunity to you know, make your point by supporting Omar, building up the independent power. You know, if you know, with this kind of rescinding of this endorsement, and to try to push up those contradictions. I mean, I expect a lot of folks who have been critical of DSA people maybe running in and around Democratic Party primaries to really maybe rally around somebody like Omar, because this is a good example of a case that y'all make a lot, and it would be a good opportunity to be able to, you know, put up a big win on the scoreboard when it comes to these anti-democratic attacks from the Democratic Party and their leadership.
And I think I don't think it's over at all. DSA has Twin Cities DSA. You should check their Twitter out for the most recent sort of. They have like canvassing and other stuff, but they got a Act Blue. They've already raised $13,000 off of this,
including
but
left right-wing guest Robin Wonsley there.
Oh yes, Robin Wonsley, of
Excuse me,
course.
thank you.
Yeah, and I think this ain't over. Like, I think it's not great for Fateh that they rat fucked him like this, but it is. I don't think by any means decisive. I think it was always going to be an uphill battle, and getting that endorsement was frankly surprising to me. But there's a reason that they were able to do that in the first place, because they have the energy there.
Mm-hmm.
And this looks so bad for Frey.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
You know, I really think that that if you can beat the party even after they pull out a stunt like that, I think it's at least worth attempting, because it would be such a resounding sort of message to a frankly corrupt
huge.
party.
It would be huge,
Yeah.
And this is like, if you are any kind of person on the left, you know, you should be fully committed to the success of this project, because it's definitely important, but it also, I think, you know, can prove, you know, how to build up different ways of winning elections despite the unwillingness of the Democratic Party to allow pro-working class candidates to win election.
Yeah, the future's struggling to be born, right?
As they say, yeah.
Here's one of the pod bros. I think this is who is this guy? I should know.
I will. This is not trivia. I do not know.
Maybe it's Favreau. I don't know. But anyway, even these guys like get it, which is kind of a fascinating little turn to watch.
You have seen this panic among the Democratic establishment, not just in New York, but outside of New York. You have all these centrist Democrats saying, you know, this is going to cost us races and we can't have a Democratic socialist. And once again, the Democratic establishment is circling the wagons. They have a super PAC funded by billionaires running just nonstop negative ads against Mamdani. You know, we're all having this conversation, like, how do we get young people to stick with Democrats? How do we win them back? And then every single time there's a candidate they get excited about, some members of the Democratic establishment and billionaires get together to try to torpedo that candidacy.
I mean,
I mean, it must be exhausting to be them. Every time you see the excitement or engagement with these things, you know, you see this push from the party elites.
And it is. Not only is it bad for like power and like achieving social democracy or whatever, it's also cultivating racism.
Yeah,
and it like this thing of like, we can't allow Fateh to be the figurehead of this party. That's people telling on themselves. Here is Abdul El Sayed in Clare, Michigan, a town with, I believe, 3,000 residents, that went almost 70% to Trump. And he's got standing room only.
Wow.
Old white folks out there hearing him ready to talk about healthcare in particular. This is Roxy Rishner, Abdul El Sayed's comms person. Several attendees told us they're lifelong Republicans, but Abdul's message resonates. Like, and I think if that surprises you, you have a bigotry or an expectation of bigotry in the American people that you should check. Like, it doesn't surprise me to find that like people would like to go see a guy even named Abdul El Sayed talk about healthcare if he's speaking their politics.
Yeah, man, I mean, you just put it perfectly. It really is. I mean, a big part of like what we've got from a lot of like leading Democratic Party strategists for the past few years is this really pessimistic view of America. You know, it reminds me, ironically, of that really famous Michael Harrington, one of the founders of DSA, quote, where he says, you know, if you know, the left wants to change this country because it hates it, and because it hates this country, you know, the people will never trust them, and they will be right to. And like, there is a part of the not the left, let's say, but the Democratic Party that literally does have that view of the American public, right? They're just like, these are like slop racist pigs who we just have to kind of bamboozle and trick with things to win elections so that we can benefit ourselves and our class and our social milieu. And people don't trust them, and yeah, frankly, they are right not to.
They're blatant liars. I mean, I just can't get over. You're gonna say, "Oh yeah, actually, that whole convention, that whole thing that we shut down the city for,
Yeah.
and like took over the giant stadium to have like do our stuff. We fucked that up. We're not competent to actually do that. Elect us, like, and that's all they need to say because they don't give a fuck. They know the papers are gonna run the thing that it's about process irregularities. No, the process irregularity is the people that wrote checks are like, hey, I think I'm going to fucking cancel that if you don't get the socialist off the ticket. That's wild, man. I and it's like, it's not shocking that it happens. Like, we all expect stuff like this. And when I got burblings that this was going to happen, you knew why. But to just see it admitted, like, I can't cash these checks until we get rid of the socialists.
Crazy.
Who
It really
won
is.
the
That's such a
caucus.
damning thing.
Crazy, man. It's almost like, what do you do from? I mean, the only thing you do is like, hope we can win, beat them, or failing that, keep this organization rolling, because what the Democrats are doing is, it's like terminal. It's really,
I mean, no. You have one of the most dangerous political movements ever in power right now, just destroying. I mean, hell, like our society and productive capacity, literally our history of waging war against the Smithsonian, doing terror after terror, and y'all are wasting your fucking time so that, I don't know, like Target boy, Mayor Frey or whatever, can like keep his seat. Give me a fucking break. It's crazy. The kind of short-sightedness of that political organization.
And again, we had Izzy Bear Breen on talking about a lot of things they did do with a slim legislative lead, and they're gonna blow it up over subservience to donors and lies about process and bigotry. I mean, it really is a hell of a trifecta.